Good morning to you. Mark Sett with HurricaneTrack.com here with your Tropical Storm Nate video discussion here for Friday morning, October 6, 2017. Taking a look at the morning satellite loop, the center of circulation is down here, and the rest of it is very loosely organized, as you can clearly see. Now, there's a little bit less going on overall than there was yesterday. This weather feature, the upper level low, backing away. Still a lot of energy up here in the northern Gulf competing with Nate down here for the available heat balance that's, the heat budget that's down there. There's only so much budget to go around, right? And as this tries to balance things out, is trying to tap into that heat budget, what we call the upper ocean heat content, and the latent heat of the atmosphere all throughout this region. As I pointed out yesterday, there's a lot going on. We have this area south of Mexico, and then again this feature up here in the northern Gulf, all competing with Nate for time and attention, and most importantly for the survivability and the future intensity of Nate, that available heat budget that lies in the ocean and in the atmosphere just above the ocean. So, all that being said, what's going to happen? Well, the National Hurricane Center still forecasting Nate to become a hurricane, and we all know that it only takes a period of 12 to 18 hours, if that, for conditions to be ideal, and a system like Nate can consolidate very quickly and ramp up to hurricane intensity very quickly. Now, the good news is it should be inland early on Sunday morning. Whether or not that's in the dark hours or once the sun comes up, if it's a little bit slower coming out of the Caribbean, then this could be closer to dawn than we are looking at. So we'll just have to see. And the exact landfall location might not matter as much since this is pretty loosely organized. Remember, all of that nasty weather is going to extend outward from the center, especially to the east of where the center makes landfall. And with that being said, hurricane and tropical storm watches are up accordingly, and there is a storm surge watch in effect as well. The possibility of potentially life-threatening storm surge, especially in Mississippi and Louisiana, is definitely there. Now, one thing that you can really take advantage of is this hurricane local statement. And you just type in like Gulfport, Mississippi as an example at the weather.gov homepage, or you can go to the National Hurricane Center's website, nhc.noaa.gov, and when you click on the information for you just scroll down. You don't have to click on it. Sorry about that. So you go to the home page, you scroll down, and you look right here. Under the public advisory, it says National Weather Service Local Products. That is what you want right there. This is one way to get to it. And so you click on this, and it has all of the different areas outlined for you when it was updated. And it's the WFO homepage, the Weather Forecast Office for that region. Mobile, Pensacola, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles, and it tells you about the threats and the impacts. And I'm telling you folks, this is tailored for your area. All right, so it's not just some kind of a bot, as they call it, that creates a forecast from the GFS or something. This is written by the local weather forecast office personnel. Some of it's template based, and it can be applicable hurricane after hurricane, but each specific hurricane threat or tropical storm threat is taken into account with this information. So you can either go to the Hurricane Center's website, or you can go to weather.gov right there, put in your zip code in this box, and when you see hurricane local statement, read it, and it'll be very helpful. We will be watching this very closely, the radar out of Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and maybe even Mobile, Alabama. Nothing on the radar right now, but this will certainly start to light up as we get through the day tomorrow. So what are my plans? Well, I'm going to be leaving Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'll head, let's just scroll the map up a little bit. Let's make this accurate. There we go. Scroll it over. So I'm going to leave Wilmington here shortly after I finish this video. I'll make my way over here to I-95, head down to Florence, through Columbia, into Georgia, pass through Atlanta, and then on down towards Montgomery, and finally down to Mobile and into Mississippi. We will be setting up sort of base camp, if you will, in the Gulfport and Wiggins area, with the landfall projected to come across the southeast part of Louisiana. I believe that Gulfport is going to be in that right front quadrant. and the onshore flow there, the openness to the Mississippi Sound, and the fact that we've got a good contact at the harbor. A fellow named George down there, and hello, George. We'll be seeing you in about half a day. It's going to take me about 12 hours to get there. We're going to set up a weather station right there in Gulfport Harbor and get some really good wind readings, as well as camera views all along the coast here. We'll try to get some stuff into Louisiana, but I think that it's going to be better to set up in Mississippi, to be honest with you, because I believe that's going to be on the right-hand side of the track, or the eastern side of the track. I'll be joined by colleagues Carrie Mallory and Todd Palais, who are coming over from Houston to join me, and together the three of us will put together a heck of an effort to bring, hopefully, especially if it's a hurricane, coverage that will exceed your expectations. We have a lot of different instrumentation we can set up for wind and pressure and the live camera systems to monitor the impacts right as they happen. The other thing we want to be able to do is to finally put this payload into the eye or the center of a storm, even if it's not a hurricane. If it has a calm enough center, we call this HURRB, the Hurricane Research Balloon, and this is the payload part of it. That right there is the APRS antenna, which sends out a signal through amateur radio. My call sign is KM4SES, KM4SES, and this is what it looks like on the inside. A very simple but very sophisticated set of recording equipment, tiny little computer with a microchip in there, a little SD card. This sits on the outside of HURRB to measure temperature, humidity, and pressure. There's the transmitter. It's called a radio bug. All of this from High Altitude Science. They do great work with great products. And the nice thing is it's twofold. This will transmit the weather data, temp, humidity, pressure, about every minute or so. And so we can see that. We will tweak the link so that you can follow along, assuming we get to launch this. But it also records that data every 6 seconds. Yes, every 6 seconds. That's awesome. Onto the micro SD card inside of here. All right? So we have to get it back to collect that data, the recorded data. Actually, the micro SD card is right there. But it tells us where it is via the APRS transmitter plus a satellite-based tracker called a spot locator. For any of you that know about high-altitude ballooning as a hobby, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is what it looks like. It's a giant 1,500-gram balloon. We have tested it several times. It's on about 30 feet of cord. There's the parachute right there that I've drawn over. And the idea is that we let it go in the center, the eye of the hurricane or the center of the tropical storm, as long as it's not too windy and gusty, and we can inflate the balloon and then let it go. We think that it'll spiral up somehow, inside, and then reach the top of the storm or the hurricane, and then just go on and on and on and up until the balloon reaches a low enough pressure at about 100,000 feet above the earth that it'll burst. And then it falls back down, and we go find it. And not only do we have the weather data, but let me go back to that picture. What else do you notice that we have? We have 2 GoPro cameras. Both of those, one over here as well. One of them looks up, just in case there's a stadium effect or, a clear enough eye. Plus, it's neat to see the balloon burst. And the other one looks slightly down and out. Nobody's ever done this before. There's been weather balloon launches in hurricanes with radiosondes, but not like this, not with 2 GoPros attached. So this will be a first in all of human history. And how many times do you get to do something like that? And so maybe Nate is the one. It's in a good spot in terms of ease of access for us to go east or west along Interstate 10. If I go back to this map real quick, we can move across here easily. And it's very wide, the corridor there. And so we can set up, inflate the balloon, and let it go. And since this is going to be moving northeast, I'd imagine it's going to land somewhere in southeast Mississippi or southwest Alabama. I don't think there's much chance it goes out over the ocean. So we've got a heck of a chance here to make history. And to help fund future chances to make history, I'm asking you to join our effort here the long-term effort, Patreon, short-term, just a one-time contribution through PayPal. It all adds up. In fact, the Patreon paycheck that I got yesterday from our existing patrons is helping to fund most of the gas for this mission. Look at it that way. And it really, really does help. So please, this is my job, and I want to be able to pay the people that help me if at all possible. And we want to be able to be around every season when it's busy like this. And to do so, we have to get through the seasons where there's nothing. You know what I mean? I still got to be able to pay the bills and survive and do education and awareness work when we have an off season like 2013 as an example. There was basically nothing. But then I got to be around when there's a season like 17. So we really appreciate it. Patreon.com/HurricaneTrack, or right there, fund at HurricaneTrack.com. And maybe we can do some stuff like this in the future. If we get to launch this weekend in Mississippi, it might be the beginning of something absolutely incredible. And the scientific data that we can collect, we're going to share with everybody. It's exciting to be innovative. So I will be streaming live on YouTube, and that'll be on the HurricaneTrack.com homepage embedded. It'll also just be on our YouTube channel, of course, and the vehicle cam, etc., that what we call the everywhere cam, streams to our app. It's called Hurricane Impact. In the App Store or on Google Play, search those two words, Hurricane Impact. It's not Hurricane Track or Hurricane Tracker. It's Hurricane Impact. That's the name of the app. That way it stands out from anything that has the word track or tracker in it. There's so many apps that have those names in it that we needed something different. So right there, Hurricane Impact, Google Play, App Store, and everything we do goes into that app. All right, so check that out and follow along. And just one more thing about the app, all of our Twitter stuff goes right into the app under the Twitter handle or the Twitter tab under my handle, Hurricane Track. And so it's nice because I can post a quick video snippet or whatever, and boom, it's right there in Twitter. And you don't have to necessarily use the Twitter app or have Twitter. You can just tap on the URL within the app, and it opens it up for you. All right? So after this, I'm going to finish loading up a couple of things. I'm going to get the YouTube stream running, and then I'm out of here. And I will be doing video discussions along the way at 11 a.m., 5 p.m., and 11 p.m. tonight. So tune in for those live. All right? I'm not going to have time. I've got to hurry and get there. Nate's going to start moving fast, so I'm not going to be doing video discussions until I get to the hotel of this recorded type. So mark your watch or whatever. Set an alarm. 11 Eastern, 5 Eastern, 11 Eastern. I will stop and quickly go over the advisory packages at those times. And it'll just be live. All right? So tune in on Hurricane Track's YouTube channel. Okie doke. All right, that's all I've got for now. I got to hurry up and get out of here. I'm trying to beat a 9 o'clock deadline to get on the road. I am Mark Suttoth, HurricaneTrack.com. Thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you again on the road.